and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here at our event, Finding Peace Aimed in Justice, through the partnership of Model UN, Safe Promise Club, and our guest speaker, Denise Morales. If we could give her a round of applause for being here.
So to introduce our guest speaker, Denise Morales is a bilingual licensed professional counselor associate based in Houston, Texas, dedicated to providing culturally responsive, trauma-informed mental health care. She specializes in helping individuals navigate anxiety, grief, identity, and life transitions through evidence-based approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness, and EMDR-informed practices. As the founder of Be Nurtured Mental Health Services, PLLC, Denise is passionate about creating accessible therapy spaces for Black, Indigenous, people of color, immigrant, and Spanish-speaking communities. Her work extends beyond the therapy room through workshops, guided meditations, and community programs focused on healing and empowerment. Denise also serves as the host of the podcast In My Feels, But I'll Heal, where she fosters open conversations around mental health, resilience, and cultural identity. Grounded in compassion and authenticity, her mission is to normalize emotional wellness and remind others that healing is not linear, but always possible. Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Denise Morales.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming into today's session. So today there's going to be a lot of learning. But before we even get started, we're going to kind of set some ground rules. So if you have some questions, definitely write them down in the back of your paper to kind of get us reminded. Definitely be in the space, be present. You only get what you want out of this by how much you tend to be attentive to it. Today we're talking about healing in a world that's not always fair. Sometimes there's life circumstances, things that happen in our environment that we just can't change. And they affect us. They affect the way we grow up. They affect the way we do things. They affect our parents, how much money we get into our households. Sometimes the way we just function. And so sometimes it's like, why can't I achieve that? Or why can't I do that? Well, sometimes there's systemic barriers that keep us from getting to those places. And so today we're talking about anxiety, depression. What are some of these systemic barriers that we're dealing with? We're going over the hierarchy of needs. You all have like a worksheet in front of you. So this is going to be a bit interactive for you to identify like what are those things in your life that affect you or your community around you, and what's keeping you from like growing and like getting to this place where like I'm healed in my healing era, because sometimes it doesn't always look so perfect. Going over those systemic barriers, an interactive activity, and then at the end just Q&A. If you ever have a question, let me know. If you participate, you get some candy. All right. Any questions before we get started? Nope. All right. So raise your hand if you've ever felt stressed about something that wasn't your fault, like money, your neighborhood, how others treated you. And take a good look around, like how many of your peers are actually impacted by that as well. So that goes to show that we're all participants of this inherent stressors that are around us, like financial institutions, like the safety of our neighborhoods, how others treat us. It might also be like mental health functioning, or maybe they just haven't been dealt the best of cards. And here, I want to know if your mental health was a weather forecast today, what would it be like? And so I want you to take a moment, close your eyes a little bit, take a deep breath through your nose and out through your mouth. Take another deep breath and pay attention. If I was a weather forecast, what does it look like? Is it dark? Is it bright? Does it feel peaceful? Does it feel like a thunderstorm? And if you're feeling like up to it, tell me, what is your forecast today? Mine, I'll tell you, it's a little bit like a rainforest today. Anybody else?
Mine, so I'll say it's like a sunny day, which is like, but it's kind of cloudy, but like a good cloudy.
Sunny day, but a good cloudy. I like that. Anybody else?
There's like tornado warning going on.
Okay, maybe we're warning tornado. Go ahead. A natural disaster, yeah. Yeah. And sometimes maybe if you're like Houston, you go between all four all in one day. Yeah, okay. And so sometimes this helps us get a mood check of like how we're feeling inside. And sometimes we don't know how to feel or we don't know how to process our feelings and emotions. A good way to do this is that, like this, take a deep breath, pay attention to yourself. Ask yourself, if I was a forecast today, what would it be like? And then maybe asking yourself, okay, why do I feel like a tornado? And where do I feel that in my body? Maybe it's my shoulders, my chest, my legs, my hands are tired. So where's that body disconnection, and how can we connect that to our feelings, emotions? Just connect it all together. Thank you for participating in that. Get some candy afterwards. So here is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So here we start at the base. And so everybody has a base at the bottom. You can start writing notes if it starts generating some thoughts for you. Here at the bottom, we have food, water, shelter, sleep. These are the physiological needs that your body needs in order for you to be just functioning right now. You'll starve out if you don't have food. You'll probably get really dehydrated if you don't have water. If you don't have sleep, you can go into a manic episode. So some of these are physiological needs that your body needs for it to sustain itself. After physiological needs, what the Maslow's hierarchy of needs tells us is that then we can move up to safety and security. Now, once this stuff is taken care of, maybe we can now worry about like saving some money in the bank. Maybe now we have housing security. We're not worried about where we're going. We have some stability. We got our family. We're locked down. We're good. This is stability. This can also be a job in here. After this, it says, oh, we can move up the ladder here. We can go into love and belonging. These are your friendships. This is your family. These are things that keep you connected, like community. The next part of this is self-esteem. Here you have achievement, recognition. Maybe your boss, you're hustling, you're doing great. You're getting to a point of self-esteem in the hierarchy of needs. And finally, we get to the point of self-actualization. This is where you feel like you have purpose, where you have growth, where you find like you've found yourself and what your values are. But sometimes we get stuck here due to systemic pressures and barriers. I want you to think about what's happening around your environment around you. This can be policy, politics. Can we talk about like what are some of those things that are currently like on the news that we're hearing about often? You can raise your hand, yeah. Water crisis. Mm-hmm. What are some other things we're hearing? Government shutdown. Mm-hmm. What else? Mm-hmm. Epstein files. Mm-hmm. What else are we hearing? ICE immigration reform. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so think about all those things that we're currently hearing on the news. But then I want you to think, how are those things impacting you? How are they impacting your household? And if you're feeling up to it, feel free to express how these things are impacting your household. If you're wanting to share. Mm-hmm.
My mom still hasn't got her food stamps.
Yeah? Mom hasn't gotten food stamps? Our mom's just scared to go out because of ICE? Mm-hmm. We're scared. We're fearful in our homes. We're trying to figure out how we're going to get food on the table, how our home is even stable, how we can even have safety and belonging when our loved ones are being ripped away. How can we get to this place of self-achievement when we don't have our community? How can we get to a place of self-actualization when we don't get to celebrate the things before us? And so here, thinking about the discussion that we're just having now, I want you to write down what's in your physiological needs on your pyramid. So write down how you see this in your life or in your community. And so here you're addressing your physiological needs, which is food, water, shelter, sleep. If you want to move up the pyramid, I want you to see how far you can get. So the next one going into safety and security. This is stability, your health, your jobs, your housing. Maybe not you directly yet, but maybe mom and dad are having a hard time financially. Maybe rent is due. Maybe we're moving place to place. And maybe you're moving up the ladder, so you're going up to love and belonging. What do your friendships look like? What does your family look like? What does your community look like? Your connection to one another? And then for self-esteem, do you feel confident? Maybe you feel overlooked. Maybe you don't feel like you've gotten the proper recognition. Maybe you've gotten some achievements. Or maybe you're working hard but still can't just get there. And it's okay if you can't get all the way to the top, but maybe that's giving us a warning about why it is that we're stuck at a certain level. And if you can get all the way to the top, self-actualization, the purpose of your life, where you're able to grow, thrive, have creativity. Do you feel like you can really be yourself and be cared for and belong by being your true self? Yes. And so we'll wrap up this activity here in the next 15 seconds. And then for those that maybe got stuck on a level, I want you to tell me, where did you get stuck, or maybe where you had a rough time answering. All righty, y'all. So take a deep breath, come back. And so I want you to look down on your paper and see what you wrote. And I want you to raise your hand if you were able to get through physiological needs. If you were able to get through here, raise your hand. And keep your hand up. Keep your hand up if you were able to get through safety and security. Keep your hand up if you were to get to love and belonging. Put it down if you feel like this is where you got stuck. Self-esteem. Put it down if you didn't get here. Self-actualization. Put your hand down here. Okay. And so evaluating where you got in this process, what do you think were some barriers for you moving up on this ladder? Mm-hmm. Yes.
I got stuck on this thing because I just feel like I don't have access to all opportunities. Like how would I
Mm-hmm. So you feel like you got stuck on self-esteem because you don't have access to the resources that you need? Mm-hmm. And what do you think would help for you to achieve those resources? What do you wish would be different?
like I have more money if I was
Mm-hmm.
white.
Right. If I was white, if I had more money? Real? All right. So then it sounds like maybe we're stuck here. Because then it goes back to money. So do I really have the security to get to the resources that I need too? Anybody else? Yes.
I got stuck on self-actualization because I couldn't fathom what my true purpose was.
Mm-hmm. So got stuck on self-actualization because I couldn't figure out my purpose. What do you think is what is that barrier for you?
I mean, not really anything, it's just thoughts.
The thoughts? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sometimes that can also be like, how safe do I feel in my mind about these thoughts, the security that I have that I'm producing them? Okay. Anybody else want to share theirs? Alrighty. And so here, this is important for us to take an evaluation on what is happening around us that keeps us from moving up in this ladder. And sometimes even organizations like the ones that you have here on your campus are trying to address or even bring awareness to some of those things that are keeping us from moving up. We talked about politics, we talked about Epstein files, Trump, immigration, ICE, barriers between our finances, our thoughts, our mental well-being. So here I want to give you some factual information. So what does it mean for our mental health when we're affected by social disasters? When there's something really heavy happening in our world. This can be a natural disaster. This can be like trauma within your family, trauma that's happening in your environment. So psychological, emotional, and cognitive development and social influences on behavior and mental health and the impact of those factors on preparedness, response, and recovery from disasters and traumatic events. So what happens when we're not able to get the resources that we need? We're not able to come together and process this traumatic event when we don't have that resilience, the resource, the width to do it. Individuals in the communities experience a mental instability, which can participate with post-traumatic stress disorder. So there is things as getting PTSD, anxiety, and depression in our population when we experience disasters that are catastrophic for people. Like, I don't want to go back to it, but COVID-19 was pretty damaging to our community. It created a lot of social isolation. Afterwards, it was horrible to come back because then we were very anxious. We got torn from our community and we didn't know how to come back from it. It affected us as a population. The loss of resources, loss of daily routine, lack of control for one's own possessions, and loss of social support was associated with elevated levels of acute psychological distress following Hurricane Hugo. So this was a reporting on Hurricane Hugo and how this affected people on a psychological level. Psychological reactions can persist long after physical danger has passed due to ongoing stressors like loss of resources and displacement. So sometimes that tends to be PTSD. What if this happens again? Or I hear stories coming, we need to leave. Or maybe I'm still having bad dreams about this. Or I'm still feeling anxious. And we'll go over some of the symptoms for anxiety, PTSD, and depression so you can help identify, is this something I'm going through? So here is a slide to help you recognize some of the symptoms that are related to these things. So anxiety can look like excessive worrying, restlessness, you're not able to get comfortable, maybe you're always trying to stay busy, you feel like maybe just taking a chill pill, like you can't because you're too anxious. Physical symptoms, this can be like I feel nauseated, I feel like throwing up, maybe I'm having aches and pains, chest pains, I'm breathing differently. Sleep disturbances, maybe I'm waking up frequently, or maybe I just have sensitivity to my environment. I feel like every noise, every light bothers me. Depression, this is like persistent sadness, loss of interest, like I don't want to even play video games, I don't want to play my guitar, I don't really want to do the things I used to like doing. Changes in your appetite, I'm eating less, I'm eating more. Feeling fatigue, I'm just constantly tired, I get home and I want to take a nap. Feelings of worthlessness and guilt, like what is my purpose? I don't know. Cognitive impairment, so maybe I can't focus at school, I feel mentally distracted and overloaded. You're having sleep issues as well. And also physical symptoms, so this like you feel sluggish, you feel like your body, it just takes a lot more energy to get things done. PTSD, this is intrusive thoughts. So here's like you're having constant triggers, reminders. You hear a sound and it re-triggers you. Your flight and your nervous system is telling you that you're in danger. You're having avoidance to places like, nah, I don't want to go there because what if it happens again? Or I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to bring it up again. Negative changes in your thinking and your mood. So it's just harder to process a positive way of thinking. Changes in physical and emotional reaction. Maybe you're having a lot of reactivity, you're getting jumpy, you hear something, you get tense. That's your body remembering trauma. And maybe sometimes that's the way when we go about our day where we're like, I don't really like that, or you just kind of avoid it. Sometimes that's your body responding to changes in your environment. So how do we help our mental health symptoms? So anxiety, some of the things that help is exercising. So maybe it doesn't look like I'm running a full marathon, but maybe it means I'm gonna go take a walk. Put on my headphones, listen to my favorite song, put on Little John the Rapper, Total Meditation album, because it's very helpful. Progressive muscle relaxation. So there's guided meditations that help you relax your body. And we can try one of those right now. So even taking a deep breath and paying attention to the sensation from your toes all the way to your knees, going up to your hip, how does your stomach feel, up to your shoulder and your chest, all the way to your head. Do you feel any tension in your body? Taking a deep breath and releasing that to the air. That's pretty much a relaxation technique. Grounding techniques, go hug a tree. Go lay on the grass. Go journal. Maybe you're doing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Has anybody heard of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? You can raise your hand if you have. Okay. So 5 things you can hear. 5 things you can see. So you're looking around for 5 things you can see, and you're going to give them detail. I can see the whiteboard, and it looks shiny. I can see this black projector. I can see the computer. Identify 5 things in your environment. And then 4 things you can touch. So 4 things you can go and you can physically touch. Is it cold? Is it texturized? How does it feel like? And then 3 things you can hear. So what am I hearing in the distance? Is it the air, the wind? What are you hearing? 2 things you can smell. So maybe it's a beautiful aroma, something that is delightful to you. Lavender is peaceful. And then 1 thing you can taste. So what are you tasting? Maybe it's like the taste of gum or my saliva, something you can taste. That's a grounding technique. So depression, establish a routine. Even if it might be hard, try to establish a routine as much as possible. Write down all the hours in the day where you are awake and try to fill them up. Even if it is sleep, homework, take a shower, call a friend, eat some food. Try to establish a sense of routine to help you out of depression. Social connections. We're social beings. So call a friend, call a person, connect online, connect virtually, however it is that you connect back to others. Hobbies and interests. Getting into some hobbies and interests. If you don't know one, Google one, or try to find free events around Houston where you can participate in hobbies. Maybe you like gardening. Maybe you like working with Play-Doh. Maybe you like sewing. Maybe you like crocheting. Maybe we don't know yet. So Google it, YouTube it. Self-compassion, tell yourself it's okay to feel. Don't be harsh on yourself. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to have a hard time. It's okay not to be okay. PTSD, mindfulness meditations, kind of like we mentioned before, so some guided meditations, journaling at the end of your night. If you feel like you're having a lot of thoughts, journal all the thoughts that are keeping you up, all the worries, and then close it and say, it stays here, and then go to bed. Creative expression, maybe you like painting, maybe you like reading, maybe that's also exploring into your hobbies, or breathing exercises. So what does resilience look like? Resilience is a capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and adapt well in the face of adversity, trauma, and stress. It involves a combination of mental, emotional, and behavior flexibility. So this is telling us that for us to have resilience, it's not only mentally, I have to be able to process this. Emotionally, I need to learn how to regulate my emotion, but also behavior. I have to walk and talk as I'm building that resilience for myself. It's the adaptability that you need to have whenever hardship comes around. Resilient individuals can bounce back from setbacks, maintain a positive outlook, and continue to move forward despite challenges. So think about all the things that we've been faced with right now, that we've talked about. Have we been resilient? Am I needing to build resilience? Maybe I've been having a hard time keeping it together when we talk about this at home or when I see my community impacted by it. Resilience promotes physical, social, and emotional well-being and acts as an important protector factor. So it becomes your defense system. It's that armor you put on that's not something you can see, but maybe they can see it on you because they're like, hey, that person holds up well. I've seen so-and-so, yeah, they've been holding it together. I've been seeing them do their coping tools and mechanisms, and so they've been working on emotional regulation. The more resilient you are, the better you are able to tolerate feelings of stress, anxiety, and sadness that accompany trauma and adversity, and to find a way to rebound from setbacks. So we can't change the things that are happening around us, the world that is unfair, but what we can change is how we participate in our mental well-being, our emotional well-being, and our behavioral. These are things where we can participate. So these are some strategies. How do we build resilience? So reach out to others and stay motivated. This is maintain and prioritize your relationships, even virtually. Break down problems into manageable steps. Maybe you have a task list of things to do, but they only have titles. I don't have the steps to get there. So maybe it is that I want to go to the park, but what do I need before I get to the park? I need to get my shoes, I need to call a friend, I get my water, I need to ask my mom, maybe I need to walk there. Like, there's so many steps before getting there. So breaking those down so you don't feel overwhelmed. Celebrate your small wins and motivate yourself. If I do go to the park, what am I going to do for myself? I'm going to make myself a matcha. Maintain a hopeful outlook and express your gratitude. Be thankful for your life. Be thankful for how far you've gotten, even at the face of adversity. Be kind to yourself and practice self-compassion. Invest in your self-care. Engage in regular exercise to elevate your stress. Practice relaxation techniques like meditation. Ensure adequate sleep and maintain a healthy diet. Let's say you're having a hard time go to sleep, try to go to sleep earlier. So even if you wake up, you still kind of get some hours in there. Manage overall stress and levels to improve mood and resilience. Practice your acceptance. Accept the reality of the situation to focus on things within your control. No, I can't control what Trump is doing. No, I can't control what's going on with ICE. No, I can't control what is happening here. But what am I able to control within myself? Maybe I can write a letter to Congress. Maybe I can write a letter to my senator. Maybe I can talk about emotional well-being to my family and friends. Maybe I can echo some of my resiliency to my community. Reflect on the past and experiences to help manage your current adversity. How in the past have you gotten through a difficult time? Remind yourself of that strong person you are. If there has been something you've gone through in the past, how did you get through it then? And remind yourself, I can get through it now too. Look for meaning and purpose. Help others to regain a sense of control and purpose. Pursue hobbies and interests that nourish your spirit. And these are some resources for Houston. If you're needing them, you can definitely take a picture of it if you need it. But this is like the Houston Department, the Mental Health Division, psychiatric units. But most importantly, out of all of this, I would tell you that 988 is a really good phone number. This, like if you're in crisis situation, maybe you're having a panic attack, anxiety attack, or you're just at the wit's ends of it and you don't know what to do and you do not feel safe, you can call 988. It's in Spanish, it's in English. I think you can even text the phone number, but somebody will stay on the line with you and talk you out of it. And then if you're needing extra support where you need to maybe go to the hospital, get seen, get some extra help, they can call in dispatch as well. But if you feel well, that's kind of where it ends. But always know that there's help that you can always receive to help you manage some of the overwhelmingness. Alrighty. And show me some love, y'all. I definitely want to take some questions that you may have about the presentation, maybe any reflection points. I do want you to think about it just for a quick second. What is one thing I'm leaving knowing now out of the presentation?